Alright people, how's it going? We are in Edinburgh. Yes we are, and we're going to take a walk up to the castle and have a look around. And we'll see how much it costs before we go in. My subscriber count's gone up a little bit, people. For some reason people are subscribing but they're not watching the videos, and to me that seems a bit suspicious, like, because why would you subscribe to someone if you've never watched any of their videos, right? You know? So I'm hoping that's nothing dodgy on my account. By the way, that over there, it keeps going off, that is the Royal Yacht. Let's zoom in again. There we go. That is the Royal Yacht, and that is the Ocean Terminal. Keep that down there for a minute. Yeah, so we're going to take a walk up by the castle, folks. So I'll just play with the settings there. There's a big cruise liner in here as well. I was off a boat yesterday, joined another boat, so I'm doing another 20 days at sea. I'm on the Albemarle right now, so yeah, got the big cruise thing in there in a moment. And that there's a super yacht, folks. I'll tell you the price of that in a minute. I was talking to one of the guys. I reckon that's a £25 million yacht, that, like, apparently there's some sort of American that owns it. He deals in forklifts, apparently. Must be good at selling forklifts before he's got a yacht like that, 25 million, folks, Beautiful. Maybe one day, Right, I'm going to get myself up to the castle. Could get a tram down here, about 2.20. It is from Leith. We're down in Leith at the moment, Leith Ports. So yeah, from the castle, Queen Street down here, it's about 2.20 to get down on the tram, folks. Well, there's been a change of plans, folks. I have decided that I am going on a whisky tour instead of the castle. The castle costs about £36. I've been in there before. I've never done a whisky tour, so this should be good. Free. The whisky tour was about £26. So, yeah, I figured I'd go away, learn about whisky, go a bit of tasting. £26. I doubt I'll get steaming. We'll see what happens. I best not to get steaming. I'm working, like, so yeah. I figured I'd do a vlog of Edinburgh while I'm here, and this is one of the little tour things that's happening. So it actually starts about 1 o'clock and I'm running a little bit late, so I'll be there in about, it says it's 30-minute walk, to be fair, but we'll see. So it says I've got to cut through this train station. I'm not 100% sure where I'm going, to be fair. I know it's on Castle Gates. It shouldn't be that hard to find this place. I'm actually doing another 20 days at sea, folks, like I already says. We make that extra cash for going away back to Thailand again. So it's a bit noisy and I forgot to bring my mic because I'm totally useless at this. I was saying the subscriber count's going up, so it's good, folks, you know. But I was saying it's a bit suspicious that people who subscribe but they've not actually watched anything. It's a little bit busy here, so busy today, busy.
So the fun begins.
I'm find a spot. Right, now you've probably seen me in Pattaya. If you're new to the channel, I am jam.thebam, and for some reason big crowds in Edinburgh and London and places like that always seem to stress me out like mad, especially when they stop in front of you and don't move. Now I think I've given to Edinburgh and I believe it's Pride Month, eh? There's anything wrong with that. Fucking Jesus. But you should see some of the nicker people wander about. There was a guy wearing a fucking gimp mask on the street, you know? What's that about? Madness. I've got to try and find this place. It's real busy today. There it goes.
Your siblings here this year?
I'm all for people's rights and that, but that is too fucking weird. No, I think so. So I just had to ask for directions. I've been to Edinburgh heaps of times, but I couldn't figure out where it was at. It's right next to the castle, so we'll have a look at the outside of it, because that bit's free. I can't believe that boy just walked past me as well. Just as I was saying that, eh? Oh my god. Never mind. Each their own, but end of the day. I don't see any point or any reason for wearing a mask. Like, the chubby boy was carrying him on a lead as well. There's some things you just shouldn't see in this world, you know? That's just the way it is, like. Scotsman Hotel. I believe it's very pricey in there, so you wouldn't be getting me in a place like that. Probably wouldn't allow me in. And you might turn me away from a whisky tour, you never know. She was right about these steps, Jesus. Well. Like I was saying, I'm going to be doing a blackout drunk in Glasgow, but I decided against it, folks. That's how I keep my money. And I figure since I'm here, I may as well show you a little bit of Edinburgh, because we're no sailing until Monday, so hope you enjoy this one. That is a beautiful looking building, that, like. Anyway, bloody hell, that's knackering. I don't like stairs and I don't like hills. Right, get ourselves up the road. There's probably going to be some sort of street performers. There always is in Edinburgh, eh? Always is. And it's Pride Day, not Pride Month, so yeah, should be good fun.
I don't like my hair in my face, okay? Keep my hair dry.
But we're not here for that. We're here for the whiskey tour. Right. Oh, pink phone box there. So, I would say it's another 20-day trip. I still haven't booked anything yet because the simple fact is I might actually be offered another job just as soon as I get off this one. So, we're going to leave it to the last minute booking, and see what happens. It's busy today. Get back and do some editing and stuff. It'll keep me busy this. Oh, I believe the tour's at 1 o'clock, 1:30, so I'm trying to get somewhere close to it, like. And I put on a jacket because I thought it was going to be raining today, but actually it's staying dry and it is quite warm. So, yeah. Okay. Right. Sorry. Gotta get a pint after this. Fair trek. This guy, what's he up there?
Oh God. Sorry, I'm not sure which church is correct. The Catholic Church jokes never get anything. Just like their victims. Oh, we are listening. All right.
maybe we should find out what the superstition is first before I do it. What do you think?
I don't know. Oh, me. Right, I believe it's at the top of this road somewhere. So Google Maps is showing me anyway, but as we know, anything by Google Maps, it usually sends you to bloody wrong place. Right enough. I'm better off going up the other side. That's alright, mate. See what stresses me? Like people just generally walk into you. I don't even watch where they're bloody going. That's a bit rude, like. I don't know why he's looking in that phone box. It's probably just a phone box. With stickers on it. Probably shut off for the junkies just smarting up on it, like, you know what I mean? Right. Just trying to figure out where I'm at. There's just so many shops and that around here. It's just like, it's a bit confusing at times. I've been here heaps of times, loads of times I've been here. I believe that's it here, is it? The Whisky Trail. It's not. Lost. Brilliant. Right, I have to check my phone again. I thought this would have been simple. Obviously, try to no walk into people and stuff and that, you know. Let's see, where am I? Right. Where is it? Ticket.com. Right, that's where I'm going. I killed the whiskey. Right, how the bloody get directions? Right, got it. I can't believe I'm using Google Maps. That's mental. Been here heaps of times too. I'm not doing that. Go away. Right, I'm down this way, I believe. I think I should probably go up by a castle. I think I've got time here. Oh man, we're bloody send me all the way now. This is annoying. Recenter. Right, up this way. Alright, I think I found it, guys. Let's hope there's no... Let's hope there's somewhere I can get a beer, because I believe I've got another... maybe not. I think I had it at half an hour. Maybe I've only got another 15 minutes to wait, so we can wait. Can't wait. Right. I don't know if I make this into 2 parts or not. Probably just keep it into one, actually. It might be a long one, I'm sorry, guys. It's like a bar there, it's a restaurant bar. Oh. Always freak me out, them things. Oh. Right. I think we found it, eh? Scottish Whisky Trail. Oh, hi man, how's it going?
Hello sir, how you doing?
I'm not too bad, like. It's indeed, hi. Is this the Whisky Tour place, is it?
It's in there, buddy.
It's in there, is it?
Yeah.
Right, sound, cheers.
We're the picked, ancient ones, eh? The ones before the Scots.
Ones before the Scots?
Yeah, the ones that were up the north, described being small with iron tattoos and blue plant dye. So Romans called them Pictus and Pictorium, the painted ones. Scots didn't come across from Ireland until the 4th century.
Right.
Scottish are different, they're an amalgamation with different tribes.
Okay.
But we're Scottish.
Oh, we're all Scottish, like.
Oh. You take care.
I'm from Aberdeen myself, like.
That's Pictish.
Aye.
And probably Indo-European Greek-speaking people as well, eh?
Okay.
At Culloden there was Aberdeen regiments, fought Stony Rose regiments fought at Culloden in 1746. I'm from Preston Plans, eh?
Alright.
I love my history.
Aye.
But I can't change a light bulb.
I love history as well, like Edinburgh's got a lot of it, man.
So is your place.
Aye, it does, aye. Aye.
Yeah,
That's
Aberdeen,
right, aye.
Marshall Keith. I'm not stopping you for the money, mate.
That's alright, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Nice to meet you.
I'm a teacher
Can
of
I put
history.
you on camera, aye?
Of course you can, yeah.
There you go. I love a war paint like that.
Well, it's a plant dye called woad, and what they did was it's a plant that dyes clothes with.
Okay.
It's cousin to the cabbage. What they did was it was for dyeing clothes first, but it actually burnt into clothes. It also burnt into their skins, caused supposedly hallucinogenics. But the plant dye woad can give off greens, blues, and yellows. So the plant put blue on their bodies and fought naked in battle. So Rome called them Picton, the painted ones, from the north of the land called Caledonia.
So it was hallucinogenic, was it?
Supposedly hallucinogenic, but also clogged up wounds. In our culture, we have different types of gods
It
as well.
sounds good to me, like.
Yeah, sounds good to me, my lord. You take care.
See you later. Yeah, we'll be wild. Scots are mad. Gotta love it, eh? There we go. I shouldn't have worn a jacket today. It's too hot, man. Where's the ticket counter? Do you know?
What?
Ticket counter. Over there. Okay, thank you. Hi, how you doing? I've booked myself on the Whisky Tour. I believe it's about 1:30. You got one about 1:30, yeah?
You've got one at 1:24, one at 1:36. Do you know if it's the gold or the silver?
I don't know. I've got on the phone later.
No worries.
Let's see. Okay, let's say. It's 1:24, aye.
That's fine. So that's the next one. So we're going to be scanning that in about a minute's time. So
Okay,
you want to
so
hang out here for me, and we'll
do I need to download the ticket? Do I?
if you can get the ticket up for me, if not, I can probably find you one.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you.
I walk about, eh? Wow. No, she's told me to go away now. She's like, let's line up. Listen, that's the most expensive bottle of whiskey in here. Let's see it. Oh, Jesus. 11,000, man. Jesus. 5,000. 12,000. Wow. I couldn't be trusted with something like that, eh? Oh, Jesus. £20,000 for a bottle of whiskey. Oh, what? They're not supposed to be for drinking, eh? So. Yeah, I do, yeah.
Like I'm gonna close the glass again. This is
Oh.
why I wonder. We're really conversing again with people in Edinburgh the better part of 4 years now. But that's
Thank
right.
you.
English is all okay, my friend.
Huh?
English all okay?
English is fine, aye.
I'm gonna close.
Aye, never. Cheers. How you doing? Just ask me if my English is alright. Sorta. It's hot though. I do need to take this jacket off.
Gearing up for that now.
You gotta be busy like, are you?
That's meant to be our peak season. That's when we're running back to back to back.
Okay.
The whole day.
Right.
Alright, ideal. I think that's just about us ready to start. So there is going to be a big flash of light. Please do not be startled by that.
Okay.
So hello and welcome to the Scotch Whisky Experience. My name is Stuart and it's my pleasure to be your guide here today. We're going to start off by learning how we make our single malt Scotch whisky out of just 3 ingredients: water, barley and yeast. However, in this room we're just going to be focusing on the first 2, water and barley, to learn how whisky truly is the spirit of Scotland.
I am born from the storm. I begin life in the rains that fall across this land and fill its veins, coursing through burns and rivers, from a trickle to a torrent. I am a primal force as old as time.
Now, as this water falls from the sky, as it usually does here in Scotland, it will flow over rocks, through peat and heather, and then sinks down into the ground. Each part of this imparting something special into Scotland's famous pure water, which is known to be some of the best in the world. Now, the Scots Gaelic word for whisky is ushka-bam. Directly translated, that means the water of life. I think that gives you a pretty good idea as to how we view our spirits. And we don't take this water for granted either, as we have been saying that today's rain is tomorrow's whisky, though we certainly have plenty of both. Now, each distillery is going to have its very own source of this lovely water, whether it be an above ground stream or an underground spring, such you find yourself in now. And it's vital in so many different ways for the production of our spirits. It's used with cooling and cleaning in distilleries, of work, and eventually distilled down into our sweet spirits. But we're not going to be talking about that in here just yet. In a short moment's time, we're going to be heading over through this magic door to learn all about the production process. So if we please gather all of our belongings, as this is a one-way tour, and we will not be returning to any room at any point. Please follow me through this way. As I just said, here in Scotland, our whisky is made from 3 ingredients and 3 ingredients only. No more, no less. And every distillery is going to follow the same fundamental principles of distillation. But by slightly altering what we do during each stage in this process, we're able to start to differentiate one distillery's products from the next. So to illustrate that a wee bit better for you, here's a distillery I prepared earlier. Now, fundamentally, every distillery here in Scotland will look almost identical on the inside. In fact, most equipment comes from the same manufacturers because it's so heavily specialised, but by adjusting variables such as the shape and temperature of pot stills, we can start to differentiate one dram from the next.
Making malt whisky begins with a clever wee trick. The barley is fooled into growing by steeping it in water. Then spreading it out on the malting house floor to germinate. As it germinates, the barley generates heat. It must be turned frequently to ensure that germination is even. To stop it growing, the barley is dried with warm air in the malt kiln. Or over a peat fire if a smoky flavour is desired. By now, the germination process has unlocked the starch, which is required for the next stage. At the mill, the malted barley is ground into a coarse flour called grist. It's a very noisy process. When the grist is mixed with hot water, the starch turns into a sugary liquid called wort. This process happens in the mash tun. After mashing, the wort is cooled. Only now can another special ingredient be added: yeast. A violent reaction begins. The washback becomes a trembling, bubbling cauldron as wort and yeast collide in frenzied fermentation. The yeast greedily devours the sugar, creating alcohol. Eventually, the yeast dies off, but its work is done. A strong, beer-like liquid called wash is the result. The wash is now a step closer to becoming a single malt whisky. Now the distillation process can begin. The liquid is heated in a pot still, and because alcohol boils at a lower temperature, it separates from the water. This alcoholic vapor rises up the neck, and as it cools, it condenses back into liquid. But it needs to be distilled again to further increase its alcohol content, and that takes place here in the spirit still. Each distillery has its own unique shape of copper pot still, another factor that ensures each whisky will have its own unique flavour. This time, the spirit is transformed. It is now around 70% alcohol and is known as a new spirit.
Now, this colourless new spirit gets pumped into one of these, and this here is the spirit's state. Here the distillsman is going to take 3 distinct cups: the heads, the hearts, and the tails. Now, the heads are too high in alcohol content with harsh methanol notes, and the tails are too low with oily elements, so we don't want in our whisky. They're sent back into the spirit still to be redistilled. However, the hearts are just right, and in the immortal words of Celine Dion, the hearts will go on getting pumped into one of these, an oak cask. And here it will sit for a minimum of 3 years before it can then be legally bottled as spirit drying beverage, where there's historical proof that it has been previously stored in oak casks. That being said, we are now ready to start heading over through into the next room, so if you please come on through this way. That will start again. It will start again. Just in the other part. Yes. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely right way round there.
whiskey, and remember when I said it was just those three ingredients? Well, that was a small but subtle lie. There's a I now move on to expansive Highlands, which also incorporates many of the islands here in Scotland. Of course, we start off in the capital of the Highlands, Inverness, which is right next to Loch Ness, where a elusive and completely real monster, Nessie, lives. Now, the lowlands are low, the highlands are high, with steep waterfalls and deep freshwater lochs, and a coastline to rival anywhere on Earth. So, of course, the scale of Scotland that you'll often see depicted in various films and media, with many attractions such as the Glenfine Viaduct, which was apparently a movie of some kind, and Edinburgh Castle from James Bond and the Highlander series. Now, if you visit in the summer, the Highlands will be carpeted in this lovely pink and purple heather, and if you're lucky, you might even get to meet a local. Now, your typical Highland sing-along is going to have various more robust and complex characteristics, like honey, nuts, and wildflower. So if you find that very top left section, give it a little scratch and smell, it should be a lovely wildflower of heather. Now the small but mighty Speyside, lying between Inverness and Aberdeen, is home to over a third of all whisky distilleries here in Scotland. Of course, a key feature and the namesake of the Speyside is the glorious River Spey. Fed from high mountain valley and ice melt, it is the fastest moving body of water in the whole of Great Britain. Now it flows over a layer of ancient granite rock, imparting enviable softness to their very own strain. And even once we start to mix all these products together from different distilleries, we get our number one export, which is our blended malt. So much so that we have dedicated a whole room to it. So again, please gather your belongings and follow me on through this way.
Show me the whiskey.
We've only really been talking about the one type of whiskey, and that's of course our single malt. Single meaning from one distillery, and malt meaning from 100% malted barley. That's two separate descriptions. But here in Scotland there's another type of whiskey that we produce, and that is our grain whiskey. Now, this came to being in the 1830s when Irish tax collector Aeneas Coffey patented the continuous still. This allowed us to distill whiskey out of a multitude of grain. Wheat, maize, and rye comes to mind. Now, this laid place for much more palatable and easy drinking spirits. However, when blended with our flavourful single malts, we were able to create the aptly named blended whiskey. Now, you're sitting in the typical 1870s sample room, where master blenders would put their nose and palates to the test, trying to create the ultimate blend, homogenizing that lovely single malt and single grain characteristic together. But as much as it pains me to say it, almost 200 years ago, Irish whiskey was on top internationally. But for good reason. Scotch was nothing like it is today, being far too fiery and inconsistent, much like our national football team. However, with the introduction of grain whiskey, we were able to mellow out these harsh characteristics, putting Scotch whisky back on top where, of course, I believe it rightfully belongs. Now, our first blend was created right here in Edinburgh in 1860, called Usher's Green Stripe. And this trend very quickly caught on, with licensed grocers who were blending tea at the time, moving to the far more interesting art of blending whisky. This was then exported down to London and all over the world to be enjoyed internationally. Now, if you are solely a single malt drinker, I cannot fault you for that. You still must realise that it is master blenders you have to thank at the end of the day, as they're the ones who demanded quality and consistency from the distilleries that you know and love. Meaning that the dram you have today is likely the same it was 20 years ago, and will hopefully be the same in another 20 years' time. Now, if you're going to divert your attention to these magic wee bottles underneath the table, I'm going to show you how we make a blend here in Scotland. We start off with a base of about 60 to 70% of that lovely grain whisky. To that we're then going to add in drops of our flavourful sing-along, depending on the kind of characteristics we're looking to bring through. For something a little bit more fruity and mellow, you might think of adding your Lowland or Speyside sing-alongs. Something a bit more robust and complex, you let it sound to a Highland or a Campbellton. Now, you are able to add either whiskies to your blend, but you must do so sparingly, as they very quickly overpower your dram. The key to a good blend is always ingredients working together in harmony, no one above the rest. But I'm not quite an expert in this field. Luckily, we have someone here today who is. So please welcome our longest serving member of staff and resident ghost, Douglas McIntyre.
Yeah, that's better. Allow me to formally introduce myself. Douglas McIntyre, Master Blender, deceased. They've done a grand job in telling me the basics of my art, but let me try to paint you a clearer picture. Grain whisky, which makes up the base of the blend, is like the canvas of a painting. You may not pay much attention to the canvas, but if you think about it, it needs to be the right quality to absorb and display the beautiful colours in the artist's palette. In fact, any masterpiece is only as good as its canvas. It's the same with grain whisky. You may think it's only there in the background, but without it, there would be no great blend to enjoy. In the same way that the artist subtly mixes many different colours together to create his masterpiece, the blender blends the flavoursome single malt whiskies expertly with the grain whiskies to create something unique and magical. And there you have it. A masterpiece. But enough from me. I'm keeping you from the most exciting part.
Indeed you are. Thank you ever so much, Douglas. Now, this is the exciting part where we get to sample a whisky of our choice. But I will ask that when we come out to pour this, please do not drink it in this room just yet, as we'll be going somewhere very special to do so in a moment's time. Now, if you wish to try a citrusy Lowland whisky today, could you please place your glass over at number 1 circle to your top right. If you'd rather a floral Highland whisky, it'll be that number 2 circle to your far right. If you'd rather a fruity Speyside, it'll be number 3 to your bottom right. If you'd rather vanilla and maritime Campbellton, it'll be number 4 to your bottom left. That bright red number 5 is of course our 5A Islay. And that multicolour circle at the top does not mean you get all the whiskies today. That's of course our easy drinking blend. And if you don't wish to drink for whatever reason, could you please place your glass upside down and we'll come around with Scotland's second national drink, Iron Brew.
The delicious aromas of all these whiskies being poured. It takes me back to my days as a master blender and selecting just the right mix of malt to bring together the subtle grains to create a perfect blend. It was a real balancing act. But remember, don't be tempted to start drinking your whiskey just yet. You'll be taken somewhere extra special to enjoy your dram. You know, I could never have imagined how the world of whiskey was going to change. 200 years ago, whiskey was but a small industry, often a sideline to farming. But with the advent of blends, things really took off. It's hard to believe that a national drink distilled in the hills and plains of Scotland is now available in 200 markets around the world and drunk in so many different ways. The blends themselves now account for over 90% of all Scotch whisky sold. It's credit to my fellow master blenders who have honed their craft over the years to guarantee the quality and consistency of the products you enjoy today. I could go on forever, but I don't want to keep you from your clams any longer.
Indeed we are, thank you again, Douglas. Now, we are going somewhere very special to enjoy these drams and go through a little bit of extended tasting. Although the official name is the Diageo Clive Fatigue's collection, that's a little bit much of a mouthful. And here at the Scotch Whisky Experience, we have a flair for the dramatic. So instead, just call it our Whisky Malt. So now again, if we please gather all our belongings, but most importantly our whisky, and bring them on through this way.
What's your most expensive bottle of whiskey you've got?
So we don't know. We don't know the value of the collection. We're not allowed to find out.
Okay.
A lot of these bottles have never been sold before.
Right.
What we do have is what used to be the most expensive.
Yeah.
Set the record for the most expensive single malt ever sold in 1980 for a grand total of $1,000. Right, that doesn't sound like all too much today.
Yeah.
But at the time it was the most expensive. Right now I believe the record's held at like 2.3 million or something crazy like that.
Okay.
And the two oldest ones we have are just round here from 1897.
1987.
1897.
Oh, 1897.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Phenomenally old.
I think I've seen so many whiskey in all my life.
Alright guys, I'm going to start heading on through here. Sorry guys, we will have to actually get through. That's not how this works.
Yeah, sure.
Alright guys. Let's go to the training floor. Alrighty, so the most common question I get asked is what is the correct way to drink whiskey? Well, there's one right answer and only one right answer. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And it's of course exactly as you enjoy it. So that's with water, with ice, with a mixer in a cocktail, it doesn't matter. As long as you're drinking whiskey, we are happy. That being said, there are 5 steps you can take in order to get a little bit more appreciation out of your dram. That first step is going to be to hold your glass up to the light. What do you see? Is it light? Is it dark? Is it golden? Is it amber? This can start to indicate the kind of maturation process that your spirit has undergone. Next, we give it a little spin. And this makes it look very fancy in front of our friends. But most importantly, you'll notice this spirit line forming halfway up the glass. From here, legs will start to form and drip down the sides. Now, a lot of legs moving very quickly likely means a light-bodied spirit. Few legs moving rather slowly likely means something a little bit heavier bodied. Now, we go to my favourite step, the one step can actually do it work, the nosing. Get up your nose, take a deep breath. What do you smell? Alcohol, probably. Yeah? If you keep your mouth slightly open, you know, aerate some more of those intricate notes and alleviate some of that burning sensation. Now, of course, the important part is on the palate. Here in Scotland, when drinking whiskey, we don't say cheers. We have a traditional Gaelic toast, which means to your good health, and that's Slán Java. So if you join me saying Slán Java,
Slán Java.
Enjoy whiskies. Of course, that final step is going to be a finish. How long these flavours are lingering around for. Are you forgetting about it already? Do you need another sip? That's likely something a little bit shorter finish. Something that lingers on and on into the next room is potentially something a little bit longer finish. Now, feel free to take a look around the collection, take any photos and videos that you like. In the meantime, I'll tell you all about the man who crafted it himself. This behind us is Clive Dees, a Brazilian businessman. and in the 1970s he was gifted these 6 bottles of single malt whisky. Now, this was a rarity in Brazil at the time. He was told by a colleague, do not open them until he moves company. Obviously, he never met me. He was never in company good enough to open it himself, and they remain untouched to this day, as have the other 3,400 bottles added to this year's collection. Now, in 2006, he was approached by drinks giant Diageo for the procurement of this collection, and he agreed under 2 conditions. First off, is that the sale price was to remain undisclosed. You're now standing in a priceless room. There's 2 men in there who know the true value of this collection. Unfortunately, I'm one of them. And second, and most importantly, why this collection we put on public display here in Scotland. He was a big fan of the Brazilian proverb, the good son returns home, and in his eyes, the collection is back home where it belongs. Now, I'm going to come around and hand you one of these. This is a wee box for your glass, and these glasses are a gift from us to you to keep and hopefully sample more spirits in the future.
There we go,
In
get a free
fact,
glass.
one of the few industries with an officially recognised tasting glass. This is a Glencairn crystal. It is a perfect size and shape for properly appreciating some more of the intricacies within our brand. So we've got about a minute left here in the collection. Take your photos and videos. I'll come around and answer any questions you may have. Yes. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you. Thank you. Cheers. Yes. Yes, can do.
No?
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Which one did you get?
The space side one.
Space Side?
I love that because it's closer to my home, you see, so.
Provincetown's not too far. They have another distillery owned by the same people, Glencadam.
There's many distilleries
That's,
where I'm from, like, I
what's
just
it,
never go.
Montrose, I think? It's really kind of up that way. I think it's Montrose.
There's one, well, I said to you earlier on that the small fishing town that I come from, well, to make a whiskey there, they've got a distillery there.
Do you know what the name of that distillery
Yeah,
is?
it's called Macduff Distillery.
Oh, yeah, I know whereabouts you are. Yeah, 100%.
I've never actually been to it, like, I don't think they do tours. So.
I don't know if they do. It's not one of the big ones, it's more of a blending distillery.
Yeah, yeah.
So you never do the things round about where you are. I've never been to the castle.
Well, there you go. There you go.
It's one of
I
those
was
things
going to
that-
go to Castle, but this was cheaper, like, so.
Fair.
And I get whiskey.
Yeah, exactly.
And a free glass.
Yeah.
You just give us the glass because you can't be bothered washing it.
We get pallets and pallets of them coming through.
Yeah?
We have a whole shift dedicated to just moving them.
Alright,
We have
okay.
about 4 pallets a week we go through.
Alright, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh well, it's just nice to have the glass anyway.
Yeah, I think it makes the experience so much better.
Yeah.
I refuse to drink out of a rocks glass now.
Oh yeah.
It changes it so much. Even your kind of lower end blends will be elevated to a really significant level drinking out of a proper glass.
Yeah. I'll be sure to make a recommendation on the channel, like so. I'm sure you get enough customers coming through here.
This year's, the start of it was slow. It was really slow because we're just kicking off a COVID stuff.
Yeah.
But we're starting to pick back up.
Alright. Is that tourist tax no affected you in any way? Is that a little bit?
We don't fully know what it is, but we're just hoping with Fringe we will go back into full style.
It's the same in most places though. A lot of people.
It's everywhere. It's across the whole country.
And across the world as well. Like it's a lot of people aren't travelling the same, like, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was better than it was, but it's still not back to people.
It's still take a wee while to pick up, I reckon, you know.
Next year,
And I'd say the UK is not exactly the most cheapest place to come on holiday,
no,
like, you know what I
it's also
mean?
the most appealing weather-wise.
Well, yeah, yesterday was nice.
Yes, it was amazing.
Right, is that us? We good?
Yes. So, unfortunately, this is our time here in the collection, so thank you so much for spending your evening here with us today. We always appreciate your views, good or bad, but if bad, maybe leave your name out of it. Aside from that, we have another 100 or so bottles on the other side of this wall at our McIntyre bar and gallery up at the back should you wish to purchase any more whiskies. But again, if you please all follow me down through this way, we're going to be heading down to the shop, as of course, all good tours do end in the shop. And thank you all so very much. Cheers.
Definitely did buy now for the shop. Right. Peace, love, take care of yourselves.